All right, good morning, everybody. This is Paul Romero with the Sell a House Wholesale Real Estate Training number 101. And for those of you who are in Phoenix, I just like to say if you're complaining about the heat, you could be waking up to this. I don't know if you can see that or not because of the glare in the window, but yeah, 6 inches of snow, baby. Talk about a nice April surprise. Biggest snowstorm of the year, actually, here for South Lake Tahoe. Kind of crazy. Normally, that would be a nothing storm compared to what we had all winter long, but one of the driest years on record with virtually no snow all year long is absolutely insane. So, anyway, just thought I'd point that out. Happy New Op Day, everybody. This is April 6th, 2015. And sorry, it's a little cold out here. I got my little floor heater going on. I'm here in my little bar area of the house because the wife's inside, and this is just a better place to be. So nice and quiet and private. But anyway, so we've been talking about systems for the past few days. Different types of systems with what it takes to run a wholesale business and be successful at it. And really, if you want a wholesale business that is going to be big enough for you to, not have to work anymore, which is what I want. That's actually where I am right now. I don't have a job anymore. I haven't had a job for a year. I had a job for a year and a half, actually. It was the summer of 2013 that I spent my last 3 out of 6 months working in the paving asphalt business. And since then, I have been doing this 100% of the time and making a tough go of it for 2014. Didn't really make enough money, but that's because our systems weren't very good. Already so far for 2015, we're already approaching pretty close to the amount of money that we made all of 2014 because our systems have gotten better. And that's really what it's all about. So when you come into the wholesale business, these are some of the questions that kind of people ask themselves. How will you find a deal? What kind of deal will you look for? How will you attract this deal to you? What will you say when the phone rings? Where and how are you going to determine the value of this property so that you can come up with an offer? How are you going to present this offer to the seller in a persuasive manner to get them to want to sign a contract with you? Do you have a contract that you're comfortable with, that you understand and that you can explain to a seller the nuances of the contract and how the process is going to work? Will you get stuck being obligated to buy? That's a big one that scares people a lot. Well, what if I get into this and I can't sell the property and I'm stuck having to buy the property? Well, if your contract's good, you won't be stuck. How will I find a buyer? Where will I find a buyer? What will I do to find a buyer to sell this property to? Once I do find a buyer, do I have an assignment contract that I'm comfortable with? That will, that the buyer will also be comfortable with. And then one of the final big ones is, well, what if something happens at title? What if this deal doesn't go through? What am I going to do? And these are all real sort of debilitating questions. And if you'll notice, they all focus around the how. How does this get done? How does that get done? How, right? We all focus upon how things have to happen. I'll tell you what, at a certain point in time, when you just have to forget about the how and just believe that you're gonna do it, regardless of what comes up, you're gonna figure it out and make it happen and just go for it and just jump in. And that's the difference between the people who actually try something, who actually gets started doing something, who actually make some efforts, who actually find a deal, who actually end up, actually closing a deal and making some money, and who end up actually becoming successful wholesalers, is the people that are willing to sort of throw the how aside and just say, I'm going for it. I'm going to make it happen. Regardless of what this takes, I'm going to make it go. And that's the missing piece that a lot of people don't have. And that's the reason why I think I spoke about a video, or not a video, but an audio series I was listening to, and the guy talks about, it's all about building wealth and being the right person to be able to build wealth in your life. And he talks about a question that somebody asked, like, well, 1 million people bought that real estate course, and certainly 1 million people, haven't become millionaires or multimillionaires or whatever. And he kind of breaks it down to where, well, out of that 1 million people who bought the course, 900,000 of them never even, opened the box and listened to one CD. They stuck it on their shelf and it's still sitting there. Out of that 900, maybe out of that 900,000, maybe 90,000 of them actually opened it up, listened to some CDs, and did nothing with it. Maybe out of that 90,000, maybe 9,000 actually listened to the course all the way through and tried to apply some of it. And out of that 90,000, maybe 9,000 actually, applied the stuff in a serious manner. And out of that 9,000 who applied, maybe 900, so I'm just breaking it down, that just, it really comes down to the person. It comes down to you. What are you willing to put in? And how much are you willing to say, okay, I've got enough knowledge of how. I don't have all the knowledge. I may never have all the knowledge. In real estate, probably you won't ever have all the knowledge. But I've got enough of the knowledge that I can go ahead and I can get started. And if I get stuck along the way, I'll just have to stop there and figure it out. So that's the key element, is you and your preparedness to be able to see things through to the end. So with all these questions in your mind about how can you make the answers to those questions a lot easier? Well, obviously, the best way to make the answers to all those how questions easier is to have someone that you can ask, who can give you the answers, who knows the answers, who can tell you what to say when you pick up the phone, who can tell you how to negotiate, or how to compare a property and where to get some values and how to look at a property and how to come up with an offer, who can tell you how to fill out a contract and what you need to have in your contract, and all those types of things. And that, of course, is what our Property Noodlers program is all about, is getting you started in this business so that you have the access to information that you are unsure about, so that you can put all of your worries to rest. And you can just say, hey, listen, if I got a problem, all I got to do is pick up the phone and ask, what do I have to do? How do I have to do it? And I can get the answer, and I can move forward, and I can be successful. So having a mentor, as they put it, is really what Property Noodlers is all about. On another level, though, not just saying, here's how a wholesale program works, go out there, good luck, and when you have problems, call me. But more so saying, with our system here, it's more so about, okay, you know what? Here's how a wholesale system works. This is how our wholesale system works. A little bit different, but this is how it works. So here's something for you to get started with. Don't worry about having to go out and figure out how to get a deal and where to get a deal and what kind of a deal to go after and all of those, and what to say to the people to get started. We're going to give you all that. We're going to give you everything that says, here's a deal. This is a potential deal. This is what you have to do. Take this deal, go do this, say this, and do this. That's all you have to do. And when you do that piece enough times, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 20 times, however many it takes for you to get that piece down, then we can add a new piece. It's sort of like learning math. I mean, when we go to, if I was to try to teach you math, I couldn't start off teaching you algebra, because you would look at all these letters and numbers and lines and all these things and you would go, I have no clue what that means. I have no clue what any of that is. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to me. But if I say, okay, look, these are the numbers 0 through 9, right? These are the numbers of the numbering system. And what do these numbers represent? Well, this squiggly line right here represents 3 items, or 3 pieces of information, or 3 things, whatever it is. That squiggly line is a 3, and this is what 3 is right here, 3 pens. Do you see that? Okay. Or I could say, you know, this is a 5, and that represents 5 pens. And I could teach you the numbers first. Now, once you've learned the numbers, then I can teach you, okay, 2 pens plus 3 pens equals 5 pens. Now we can start teaching you addition. Then we can start teaching you subtraction. Then we can start teaching you multiplication and division. And then once you've learned all of those steps, then we can start teaching you, you know, the next thing, which is fractions and geometry and shapes and all the different types of things. You know, we can advance, but you have to start at the beginning. That's where the difference lies in the Property Noodler system, is that we start you in the beginning, not with all of the how questions spinning around in your head, preventing you from going anywhere, but with a definite, here is serious possibility right here. Take this, go do this and this, say this, do this, that's it. Learn that first. Learn how to do 3 things and say 1 thing. Okay? You can learn how to do 3 simple things and say 1 thing, right? It's not that difficult. And you can get that down, you can perfect that by doing it several times over and over again. Then once you've done that, okay, now we've taught you the numbers. Now we can teach you how to add numbers. And we can say, okay, now that you've said this, now I want you to take it 1 step further. And when you're there, you're going to talk about this, this, and this. Or we're going to show you a different type of a lead. And now you can say these things over here. You know, so we can show you all of the different things. The numbers are the big thing, actually, in our Property Noodler system, because the numbers, learning the numbers are really kind of like learning the different types of leads that there are. Because each type of lead obviously requires a different approach. You know, you can't go after a seller that has this problem talking to them as if they have this problem over here. It doesn't relate to them. It makes no sense to them, and they're not going to have any interest in what you're trying to offer to them. So learning the numbers is the big thing. And obviously, you know, when you're a kid, you spend a lot of time learning what the numbers were. That's the most important piece. So that's sort of how our Property Noodler systems work, is all about trying to eliminate that big, worrisome, spinning tornado of how that's going off in your head, that, you know, how am I ever going to get this done? How am I ever going to find a deal? How am I ever going to do all these things? By just saying, hey, listen, forget about how. Do this. This is how. Once you figure out this little how, we'll give you another how. This is how you do the next piece. And then this is how you do the piece following that. And once you start learning how each one of these little steps go, the beautiful thing is, see, what we do here is we start you off with the 1 how. While you're learning how to do that 1 how, it creates a deal. We'll pick it up. We'll finish it out. You'll still get paid. So you're earning your money. You're getting some money. You're getting some benefit, some financial advancement out of learning 1 little piece at a time by actually doing it. Not just reading about it, not listening to it on audio tape, not watching it on a video, but actually doing it for yourself, which obviously we all know doing is the best way to learn anything. You know, I mean, I could sit here in the classroom and teach you all day long on the chalkboard how to swim. And we could walk out to the pool and I could throw you in and you'll be drowning. You know, because you're not going to learn how to swim until you actually get in the water and start doing it. So that's what this is all about, is to get you in the water and start doing it right out of the gate. One piece at a time, one number at a time. This is a 1, all right? Take this 1, and what I want you to do with this 1 is figure out how many things you can find 1 of, all right? How many times you can do this one thing. Once you've done that, now this is a 2, okay? Now take this 2, and I want you to go and figure out how many things you can find 2 things of, and how many times you can do this number 2 thing. And each time you just get a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit more advanced and a little bit more knowledge and a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident, and all of those factors that you need to have in order to do the next thing. And once you get good at one thing, once you've mastered one thing, then all of a sudden now you start developing a drive, because now you're like, I can do that piece. That's easy. What's next? I want to know what's next. What's the next thing I got to do? You know, and once you figure out what that next thing is you got to do, and you get out there and you start doing it, and you're like, ooh, this is kind of scary. I've never done this before, you know, but then you do it the first time. You're like, oh, well, that wasn't so bad, you know, and then you go out and you do it again. You're like, oh, well, that's not so bad easy. And then you go out and you do it again. You're like, this is actually really easy, boy. The first piece of it, this is all really easy stuff. What's the next thing I can do? I'm getting good at this. What's the next thing I got to do? You start getting excited. You start building that drive. You start wanting the success that you're actually, you start building a desire, not wanting. I don't like that word wanting. Wanting is kind of weak. Everybody wants, but nobody does. But you actually start building that desire that drives you to do, is what it all comes down to, by being able to experience a little bit of success along the way and actually see some financial gain from what you're doing, and being able to do just a little bit at a time, a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and build up, like I said, build up that confidence, that inner confidence within you that's going to give you the drive to keep going forward. So that's what property noodling is all about. And that's why we want to bring you guys on board and help us build our team, because quite honestly, right now, we have a small team, and we have a small team that has a lot to do, and we need some more people on our team to start taking away some of the smaller things so that we can focus more of our time on the back end things and keeping those paychecks coming in so that everybody can get paid and make some money. So we want guys on our team. We want gals on our team who are interested in doing this, and you don't have to have any knowledge right now. Obviously, if you've looked at some courses, you've bought some courses, you've studied some guru programs or whatnot, you have some ideas about how all this stuff works, that's great. That's good stuff. That's a good base knowledge for you to kind of have an overview of knowing everything that you need to know, although you don't know it. You know, it's okay not to know it. Knowing what you don't know is the first thing. I mean, you have to, before you can become good at something, you have to become aware of the fact that you aren't good at it. And before you become aware of that you aren't good at it, you don't even know that it even exists. You don't even know that you're not good at it because you don't even know it's out there. I like the phrase that you don't even know what you don't even know, because you don't. If there's something you don't know about, well, you don't know anything about it. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know how it works. You don't know how it takes place. You don't know how any of it happens or anything like that. So I love that little phrase. It goes a long way. But then, like I say, you know, once all of a sudden now you say, somebody says, well, hey, look at this. This is what this is. And you're like, oh, wow. Yeah. Now I know what that is. And I know I don't know anything about it. Now I'm aware of the fact that I don't know anything about it. So then the next level is that you say, okay, well, now that I know something about it, what do I have to do to learn it? And so now here's a piece. This is what it takes to learn it. And you have to start applying that. And so once you start applying it, then you apply it enough times, then it becomes automatic. Then it's like this little piece right here, boom, that's done. I can do that. This is what I do, over, done with, and it becomes automatic. So those are like the 4 steps. You don't know what you don't know. Then you know that you don't know. Then you know, but you have to actually work at doing it. And then you just know, and you just do it. So those are the 4 levels. And we're going to start you off with, you know, the awareness, obviously. This is it. This is what you have to do. And the and the conscious competence level of it, where you have to actually have to think about the application of it each and every time that you go out to do things. And we're going to help coach you through those pieces right there to get you into the level of the unconscious competence, where it's just automatic to you. So that's how Property Noodlers works. We want you guys to give us a call. We're looking for people to join our team. We're looking for people all over the country. We want to get this started in lots of different places, and we can do so. But you got to have a commitment. You got to be able to. You got to be willing, especially if you're from looking at doing this in another area, because there's going to be some things that you're just going to have to do some research, figure out how some things even work before you can even start applying anything, because we're not in your area, and everything works a little bit differently, state by state. So you're going to have to do a little bit of legwork to figure out some things that will help you put together the pieces and connect the dots once you figure them out, so that we can start building the chain that creates the funnel that starts bringing the leads, that starts earning the money. So anyway, that's how it is. That's propertynoodlers@gmail.com. That's where you would send an email to say that you're interested, that you've seen one of our hangouts, and that you're interested in doing some wholesaling. You're interested in earning some extra money. You've got a few hours a week extra that you can devote to this, because that's really all you need to get started. Even if you seriously, literally can only work, 5 hours a day, 5 hours on a Saturday. That's 5 hours a week that you can put towards this. Yeah, growth is going to be slower, but it's growth. It's a start. It's something. And it'll get you where you want to go, as long as you stick with it. As long as you're the right person who's willing to say, okay, forget the how, just show me and I'll do it. All right. That's it. Just show me and I'll do it. Okay, everybody, it's getting close to the end of our show here, and I just want to wish everybody a great second quarter of 2015. I know ours is off to a stellar beginning, and it's going to be an amazing quarter for us. I can feel it. I know that it's happening, and it's a great feeling to have, knowing that things are jumping out there and really finally starting to take place, because we have, and John's not here today, but we have paid our dues. We have put in the time. We have stuck with it. We have figured things out. I'm not going to say figured it all out, because like I said, we'll probably never know it all. There's no way. We find something new on every deal that comes in, which is another fun aspect of the business, because it doesn't get boring. It never turns into a routine. There's always something new and different. There's always a little twist. There's always this. There's always that jumping in from the side where you never expected it to come from, going, what is this? Oh, here's a new challenge I got to figure out. Awesome. Something different. But the thing is, now with the systems that we've created, we've got time where we can devote to these challenges that doesn't have to take away from our time of the other pieces to get something in place that might have a challenge. Does that make sense? Because when you first start out, when you're doing this by yourself, you start out, you might have some activity, you might have some action, maybe you get a deal locked up, and then you have a challenge. Well, everything that you were doing to get that first deal, you have to stop. You got to put all that on hold, and it goes nowhere, while you have to focus on and making sure that you overcome this challenge. And until you get that figured out and fixed and changed, and you overcome that challenge, everything else stops. All motion, all wheels stop turning, and nothing's happening for you. Your funnel starts to dry up. If you were filling a funnel, all of a sudden nothing's coming into your funnel, and that's detrimental to your business. You have to constantly be filling and putting new stuff into the funnel in order to have the things that you want come out the other side. And it's very, very interesting that there's all these challenges, and that's why we started building a team. That's why we started creating systems, so that while we have a challenge, there's still activities going on that are keeping these wheels turning. Maybe they slow down a little bit, because we are still putting in a pretty solid effort in most of those areas ourselves, but it is a lesser effort than what we were doing before. so that now we have more time to focus on this. And like I said, the wheels might be going like this while we're focusing on it. And then when we get this challenge over here, the wheels start suddenly, go down to doing this, which the good news is they're still doing this. That's the good news. As long as they're still doing this, everything's still moving forward. It's when they do this, that's when everything stops. So always keeping things moving forward is what the power of systems do for you, is allow you to keep everything moving forward while you have to take your focus away from something very important and put it on something that sometimes really isn't even that important, but it has to be taken care of. So systems are the awesomeness of wholesale real estate. Property Noodlers is a system, and we're inviting you to become part of this system and experience success with very minimal effort and lots of training and coaching and helping. All right. Happy New Up Day, everybody. I'm going to end this like I always do with the Napoleon Hill prayer, which says, "O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire." There you go, everybody. Systems. Have a great New Up Day.